Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for tonight. We are talking Friday, April 11th. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm going to have 4 MLB home run picks for you guys to lock in for tonight's MLB betting slate. Very, very confident in the 4 plays that we have for tonight. Before we can get into that, we do have to do a recap from yesterday, which was a fine day overall. Another day in which we got one of our guys to hit a home run, which means that we made money. Up 0.75 units yesterday. Thank you to Brenton Doyle for coming through with a nice big monster dong. The Logan O'Hoppe one really hurt because the Angels hit like a zillion home runs, and he himself had a ton of hard hits, but he could not get any to leave the ballpark, so that one was a loss. And then Cheerio, Devers, I went back to Devers. He hit a double, but really didn't get anything close. And then the Brewers bats were just completely silent yesterday. So again, the beauty of home runs is you get one guy to hit a home run and you're making money. And that now brings our profit on the year. We are up about 7.5 units total. We are up just under 50% ROI. That ROI is insane. That we're probably going to end the year between 10 and 20% ROI if I had to guess. So just keep in mind that a lot of this is from those 2 days where we got 3 out of 4 on both Saturday and Sunday about a week ago. But either way, I'm very happy with how the season has started. Another just classic reminder of what it's like betting home runs is I have won 14, I have lost 38, and we're up 50% ROI. So always important to keep expectations in check when you're betting home runs. We just need one of these guys to hit a home run and we're making money. And then we need one time a season to hit all of them, and then that's just beautiful. But we can get right into it. So I'm going to, again, have 4 plays for you guys to lock in. I'm using Ballpark Pal as my favorite MLB betting tool with a lot of the analysis that I look at. So if you want to check them out, I put a link to them in the description of the video, as well as the pinned comment. And then I have a couple other sources that I look at for just like raw data and stuff. But the first play that I have locked in here, Francisco Lindor to hit a home run. So I locked him in. I sent him out to my Tails account, if I could find it. I sent him out right here at plus, it was actually plus 350 is the best offered price at Bet365. This tool that I use, Tails, which is where I send everything out, they don't pull odds for Bet365, but it's actually plus 350 there. I put 0.3 units on that bad boy because I want to make sure I'm profiting around a unit. Normally, I do a quarter unit. This time, I'm doing 0.3 units. But I absolutely love this play on Francisco Lindor. I'm not, normally I try to look at situations where it's better than a plus 6 in favor of the batter. But I'm not really scared off of the fact that it's a C- matchup for Francisco Lindor. The reason why is because of the pitcher and it's the release point. That's what I'm looking for. It's the release point. It's a low release for JP Sears, which Lindor only has quote unquote a C against. You see it's much better everywhere else, but a lot of reasons why I like Lindor in this game. Number 1, Lindor smokes left-handed pitching. Number 2, Lindor has been on fire recently, and number 3, this pitcher stinks. So we're gonna stick with the pitcher for a second. As you can see, he throws left-handed. His home run per 9 all 3 years in the MLB. I mean, this one isn't terrible. Granted, that's actually not bad. 70 innings pitched, but 1.78 bad, 1.38 below average, 1.38 again below average. And that's only through 2 starts. The biggest thing for JP Sears is he just allows guys to barrel the ball up at an insane rate. You look at his barrel rate, his entire MLB career: 9%, 11.1%, 10%, 10%. We're looking at the MLB leaders in barrel rate last year. Look who's number 2, JP Sears at 10%. I look at barrels very heavily because a barrel is such a specific exit velocity and launch angle that those barrels lead to home runs more than really any other stat you can look at. And then Francisco Lindor, so he had a really slow start to the year, right? People were making fun of him because his torpedo bat wasn't torpedoing. His first, 8 games of the year, whatever this is, didn't have more than 2 hard hits in a game. Look at his last 2 games. 3 hard hits, 2 barrels, 4 hard hits. And you go through his exit velocity from these games, which is what we're looking at here on Baseball Savant. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. So this was a game in which the Mets got shut out. But you look at his exit velocity here: 107.5, 104.5, 102.2, and 100.5. It's literally 100 in all 4. Now, none of them left the ballpark. This one had a little bit too high of a launch angle. This one a little bit too low. Close though. 20 degrees is close. And then too low and too low. But Lindor smacking the baseball is very important for me. And then we look at the game before that. So that was the 9th. We look at the 8th. We go to the Mets. They scored 10 runs in this game, so a lot better. And we see that, Alonso's been smacking the ball too, and we're going to talk about him. But Lindor, 107 off the bat, 391-foot home run. Lindor, 101 off the bat, 34-degree launch angle. So this one was pretty good in terms of a home run. Traveled 365 feet, and then he had another sac fly that traveled 350 feet. So he's been smacking the baseball. That's really, really important. And then you look at Lindor, we're going to his splits. This year, obviously, it's a small sample size. He's only hit one home run, and it was against a righty. Last year, his ISO rate against lefties was much better. 2.282 versus lefties compared to 208 against righties. Now, ISO rate, it's a good way to measure power, not necessarily. It's measures how their previous stats. It's not necessarily predictive. It's just here are their stats, and ISO rate's a good way to measure power. 282, like anything 250 and above, 250 and above is considered excellent. So a lot of good reasons to like Francisco Lindor in this matchup. Now, I had been all over Pete Alonso for the last 3 games, and I couldn't get him right. Pete Alonso also has an excellent opportunity to hit a home run. The reason why I didn't go with him, I just hated the odds. The best offered price on Pete Alonso is plus 300. That's just a little bit too low for my liking. The 350s, even a little bit too lower. I try to look for plus 400 and above, but I will dip below that in certain situations. But I couldn't get to plus 300. So Pete Alonso is probably going to hit a home run. I just didn't like the odds. If you wanted to put him in a parlay, I wouldn't blame you for that. He has been smacking the baseball. You look at the last 2 weeks, he's number 1 in the MLB in terms of total barrels. So yeah, I can't talk you off of Pete Alonso. I just liked Francisco Lindor a little bit better. Next up, I'm taking Kyle Tucker to hit a home run. He's at plus 450 odds at ESPN Bet is the best offered price here, plus 450. Put a quarter unit on this bad boy. I was just showing you total barrels, which I put a lot of emphasis in. Look who's tied for third in the MLB with 8 total barrels. That would be one Kyle Tucker. The reason why I love betting on Kyle Tucker to hit a home run, because he hits a lot of them, but he's one of those guys that he smacks the ball, but he consistently puts the ball in the air. So you see that his hard hits are a little bit lower than Alonso and Carroll and Devers and some of these other guys. But because he puts the ball in the air, his barrels are always going to be among the tops in the MLB. And Kyle Tucker, it's why he's such a good home run hitter, is because, guys can smack the baseball. You look at the leaders in hard hits. Churio, 4 home runs is good. Pete Alonso, 3 home runs is good. But then Vlad, 0. Bo Bichette, 0. Devers, 1. Witt, 1. It's not just are you hitting the ball hard, are you hitting the ball hard and in the air? And we see among the top, 13 guys in terms of barrels, he's got the best launch angle at 23.1 degrees. So that's why I like Kyle Tucker. Admittedly, the matchup is a little bit scary because Yoshinobu is a really good pitcher. Yamamoto is a good pitcher. We do see that it's plus 10 extreme advantage in favor of Kyle Tucker. The reason why it's such a big favor for Kyle Tucker is just, the release point, he's good against everything, but it's lefty versus righty. So we have that advantage for Tucker. And it's just a fastball. Yoshinobu throws a fastball. He throws it even more to left-handed hitters. And Kyle Tucker just annihilates four-seam fastballs. We see A+ here. So if he gets a hold of a fastball, that's going to go out of the stadium. In terms of exit velocity, both of them allow hard contact. Yoshinobu plus 2.7% more likely to allow a hit above 100 miles an hour, and Tucker does the same thing. Now, Yoshinobu doesn't allow a high launch angle, which is why he's generally a good pitcher and generally somebody you wouldn't want to target for home runs. But Kyle Tucker, obviously, I mentioned that he loves to lift the ball. Here's evidence of that. And the plus 10 advantage is something that I put a lot of emphasis in. A lot of sources that I look at, it's not just Ballpark Pal, have this as a highly rated matchup for Kyle Tucker. So that is our second play. Our third one, not Francisco Lindor. Our third one is, I must have put the wrong thing up here. It's Jonathan Aranda to hit a home run. So this is our third pick, plus 560 odds at FanDuel. If I could find my notes here, is where I locked it in at. I actually moved down to plus 520. I would still take it there. No issues taking it at plus 520. So for this play, I will admit, and you notice my write-up here if you can see it. I was really debating between Jonathan Aranda and Brandon Lau. I think both of them are excellent options to hit home runs. If I was spraying the board, I would have bet Brandon Lau. I would have bet Pete Alonso, but I try to limit myself to really only between 3 and 4. But there are people that spray the board that have a lot of success doing it, and there's no issues with that. So if you are one of those people, then take Brandon Lau, take Pete Alonso to hit a home run. The reason why I ended up going with Jonathan Aranda is if you look at the last week alone, which I get, like, when you're betting baseball, do you look at 2 weeks? Do you look at 7 days? Do you look at literally the previous day? There's a ton of different philosophies. I'm looking at the last week, and Jonathan Aranda has significantly better stats if you're looking at the last 7 days. If you're looking at the last 14 days, then it's about equal between Brandon Lau and Jonathan Aranda. But the last week, everything's in favor of Jonathan Aranda. Exit velocity, 95.9 miles per hour. So basically, when he's making contact with the baseball, the average EV of when it leaves his bat is 96 essentially miles an hour. That's really good. Barrel rate, 18.75%. That's really good. Hard hit rate, 53.85%. That's really good. Fly ball rate of about above 40%. That's really good. Everything is really good for Jonathan Aranda. And the pitching matchup is phenomenal. I mean, Bryce Elder, that guy's a dong machine. He loves throwing home runs. He loves throwing home runs to left-handed hitters. Both Jonathan Aranda and Brandon Lau are left-handed hitters, so that is something that you get in favor if you take for both of them. And if you look at the pitch mix, specifically the sinker and the slider, which is what he's going to see about over 60% of the time, the sinker and the slider, guess who's got better stats? Or actually, no, they have about equal stats. Brandon Lau's got a higher barrel rate, but Jonathan Aranda hits the ball higher. So the biggest difference here is the fly balls, specifically on those two pitches, are in favor of Jonathan Aranda. Hard hit rate equal. So we see that they both hitting the ball the same amount in terms of how hard they're hitting it. The difference is just putting the ball in the air. But Jonathan Aranda has been really good in general about putting the ball in the air. You see his fly ball rate in general is 42.86%. We look at his we're looking at his game log over the last week or so. 3 barrels, 50% hard hit rate, and he's generally putting the ball in the air. Launch angle, I mean, some of his games aren't bad or aren't that great, like 12.1, but 20.4, 31.3, 26.9, 23.1 is all really, really good. So you really can't go wrong between Aranda and Brandon Lau. Both these guys are going to hit home runs. Another reason why I went with Aranda, I should mention, better odds, plus 520 versus for Jonathan Aranda, you're getting plus 400 at Brandon Lau. Again, they could both easily hit home runs, and if it is Brandon Lau and not Aranda, I'm going to be frustrated. If it is Pete Alonso and not Lindor, I'm going to be frustrated. But I mean, that's just dong life. You kind of just got to call your shots and live with the consequences. So that's play number 3. The fourth and final one that we have here is James Wood to hit a home run. I took him. He's all the way up at plus 700 odds at, a bunch of different books. You can get him at plus 700. That's at ESPN Bet. That's at DraftKings. It's at Fanatics. It's also at ESPN Bet or Bet365. Excuse me, Bet365 as well. You can get the plus 700 odds. So the reason why I went with Wood, you look at his game log recently. He had 1 hard hit in his last game, so that one wasn't phenomenal. But prior to that, 2, 3, 2, and we see the barrels combined 3 barrels in his last 4 games as well. And it combines 7 hard hits in these 3 and then 1 in the last game. So he's generally been hitting the ball really hard, not necessarily including his most recent game where he only had 1 hard hit. But when that 1 hard hit comes after hitting 2 home runs in the same game, I can accept that a little bit. And the matchup he has is phenomenal. He's going up against Cal Quantrill of the Miami Marlins. Guy is a guy that loves throwing home runs. We look at his home run per 9 last year, 1.4. It's pretty bad. Granted, that's at Coors, but I mean, it's only been 2 starts, but not at Coors. Home run per 9 of 2. And he's also one of those guys that will allow batters to barrel the ball up, which is something that I look a lot at. We're looking at his game log here, StatCast, barrel rate 10%, hard hit rate 56.7%, launch angle is high as well, 12.3 degrees. We see that his first start, he got rocked. All 3 of his barrels were in his first start of the year, 10 hard hits as well. His next start against the Braves didn't allow a single barrel, but allowed a decent amount of hard hits and allowed a decently high launch angle as well. So nobody hit it in that specific sweet spot, but generally he was hit hard and he was allowing guys to put the ball in the air. That's a good sign for someone that we want to hit a home run. And it's another really good matchup for James Wood, plus 10 extreme advantage in favor of the batter, James Wood. So that's all we got. That's our 4th and final pick of the video. 4 home run bets for you guys to lock in. Here are all of the 4: James Wood, Jonathan Aranda, Kyle Tucker, Francisco Lindor, all 4 of them to hit a home run. In terms of the leans, I gave you my 2 favorite guys that I didn't bet. It was Pete Alonso and it was Brandon Lau. I think both of them are really, really good bets. And if we go 4-0 today, we hit all 4 of these guys, we will profit, if you just will give me a couple seconds here, we will profit 5.33 units, not including if you put a parlay of all 4 of them together, which I did literally $1. So for me, a quarter unit is 25 bucks. I put $1 on a parlay of all 4. But that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching. Check out Ballpark Pal if you want to. Check out my Tails account, which is where I send everything out early. So if you want to lock in plays before the odds change, you can. Make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one.